lovely summer evening on the Wire Hamlet Steam Railway, and the engines were coming to rest after a long, hard day's work. The drivers had gone home to watch telly. Telly is an interesting thing. It is a box, and it broadcasts pictures. And depending on what you're interested in, you can watch just about anything without being bored, apparently. And the engines were quite interested in what their drivers often had to say about engines or railways on television. "A while ago," said Percy, "my driver said that he saw some documentaries on BBC Two. He said that the channel went railway mad. There was a sort of documentary about the history of the railways, and they also had a documentary on the Welsh railways." "Ah, yes, my drivers told me about them," said Thomas. He said they have this bloke called Michael Portilla. He could have been Prime Minister." "Ah, yes, Prime Minister," said Bristol. "Prime Minister indeed. Well, he didn't get there. He's a TV presenter. My driver says that that's what he's best at, and that's probably what he should stay doing best at. He's done lots of them, apparently," said 101. Yes, a lot of them. They go up and down the country on journeys each week," said Edward. "That's what my driver told me anyway." "My driver told me that BBC Two also had at one point a documentary about the running of railways," said Percy. Yes, my driver told about that. He said there was too much swearing. I don't know what swearing is, but I believe it's bad. It's definitely not. BBC Two used to have children's programmes. Apparently there were two children's programmes that my driver said were of interest to us. One was called Underground Ernie, and one was called Chuggington. They weren't very realistic, he told me, not like Thomas and Friends. "Ah, Thomas and Friends," said Thomas. "Let's not start that," said Bristol, worried again. One children's programme that my driver said was really good was this programme called Ivor the Engine, about the green engine based in Wales. The only thing that he didn't like, well, actually he did like, but he said it wasn't realistic, was that it had three whistles and made him sing in a sort of way. "Sing?" said Thomas. "Aye, indeed, sing." My driver said that the best thing he ever saw about railways was this programme by Mark Williams, an actor. Apparently Hogwarts knows him. And he did a really good documentary series. You can say you can watch it over and over and over again. My driver said that Dibnah used to present lots of good programmes. He was very interested in steam engines. He even owned himself a traction engine and a steamroller. He said he had some funny stories about them. He read his autobiography at one point. Well, not his autobiography, but his biography written by his producer. But when they cut all his programmes up, don't know why they want to do that, and rearranged it, it wasn't as good as the old ones. "Talking of old ones," said 101, "my cleaner said that he's been watching programmes on BBC Four's website, old programmes from years and years ago, and they're really good. They've been uploading them all the time. There's ones about heritage railways, ones about the history of the railways, and all sorts, all on the BBC Four website." "Well, that's very good of them," said Edward. "Aye, indeed it is," said 101. "Or at least that's what my engine cleaner says." "My driver," said Bedford, "once told me about some documentaries on BBC Four. He said they were called Timeshift. There was one about trams. There was one about the golden age of coach travel as well. It was a two-parter, he said. Very interesting, he said. Well, I think that's plenty from them. I think the conversation might go on for some time. So I'll just say bye-bye. See you next week.